Visualize, oh, there it is. Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everybody, for coming. This is a board workshop as opposed to a meeting. It is open to spectators. There is no public comment time. There is no question and answer time. This is for us to be able to work together and be confident in questions and whatever we need to talk about, okay? That isn't, of course, anything confidential. We wouldn't do it tonight, but Thursday we would go into executive. If you felt there was something confidential that you needed to bring up, you would let John know that. We won't have an executive around this, okay?
Okay. All
right, very good. So we are up to the budget workshop part, and Superintendent addresses the board.
We had proposed a 4.95% increase going over the cap for next year, and I was supportive of that until we received some information regarding the compressor station, which is valued at $80 million and will give us over $700,000 in new tax revenue. 50 million.
50.
What are we getting? 740,000, Caleb?
We're getting, yeah, it's about 740 no pay, but
so
it's better to look at it in terms of percentage.
We can take that money next year, add it to our budget. We can have a budget increase of about 9%, 8.5%, 9%, with a tax increase of 2%, remaining under the cap, which means, very important, people get their property tax relief check.
So we don't have
if
to
we
affect
do it,
that.
If we do it this year, they lose that check, and we need 60% of the vote. If we do it next year, they get their check, we get a budget increase of about 9% and a tax increase of 2%, or less.
Correct.
But if we do it next year, in other words, if we do decide to exceed the cap?
Because the state,
No, that's not
when
what
you
mean.
get the influx of money, the state gives you an opportunity to add that to your 2% and still be under the cap.
Okay, I see what you mean.
So we can have a 9% budget increase and still be under the cap next year.
That's what has to be clear too, is because
Yes.
it's a budget increase. It's not a tax increase.
Right, right.
And
Now-
that has to be educated to the public.
One of the ramifications of the influx of money for this year will be taxes will go down a little bit. And subsequently, they'll go up next year back to where they were this year when we take the money and incorporate it into the budget. But I'm recommending that we not exceed the cap this year, that we wait until next year and use the funds in a way that people still get their property tax relief check, because the poorer you are, the more money you stand to lose with the property tax relief check. If you make a lot of money, it could be $60. If you don't make a lot of money, it could be $400. And that's a hit. And if we don't need to have our community have that hit, we shouldn't. So my recommendation is to not go over the cap, to do the 2.3%. Is that what it comes out to, Caleb?
2.3.
And it'll be a tight year. And Caleb and I have been working on strategies for maximizing our funds, but we won't be able to add some of the things we wanted to add until the following year. But I think this is recognizing the ability of the public to pay and considering everything. I think we're waiting a year is a fair thing for the public.
Okay, I have the same question. Waiting a year for what? Till we get the money, not till we exceed the cap.
Well, you get the money, but you can't use it. If we used it this year, we would exceed the cap.
I know that, but we can use it next year and not exceed the cap either.
This year,
Am I misunderstanding something?
This year the money comes into our coffers.
Okay.
It lowers everyone else's taxes because there's an additional 740-something thousand in the pot.
Okay.
Next year, we're going to take that 740,000 and add it to the budget.
Right.
That increases the budget.
Yes.
And the state allows you to use that money one time without exceeding the cap. You still are under your 2%, adding that 7%
And that would be next year.
next year.
That's this number here on this sheet that I gave you, how they calculated that cap. This is going to be probably the Chinese to a lot of people. But
The challenge is going to be, as Scott mentioned, people hear 9%.
My taxes are going up 9%.
Before
That's what
you
they're
get
gonna
to the other half of the sentence, it says your taxes are going up 2% or less, you may lose them. And it's going to be, we're going to have to educate the public on what the reality is, that their taxes are not going up 9%, the budget's going up 9%.
Because the biggest thing that I'm hearing out there right now is that, oh, if you guys exceed the cap, I'm losing my STAR
Property.
program.
Yeah.
No,
No, they're
you're
not.
not losing your program. You're losing your check for this year. And
But they're not
But
gonna
now
lose
they're
it.
not.
But now they're
getting
not.
it. What, no, now they're not. But because we regrouped and took into consideration, I made a phone call to Lori King 2 weeks ago.
yeah, about 2 weeks ago.
When I got cable, we went down and talked to her. We're due to meet with her next
Who is she?
Tuesday. She's
The
the tax
assessor.
assessor for Van Island.
Okay, thank
She's the
you.
one with the numbers for this compressor
Okay.
station.
You got to assume I don't know anything.
Okay. Oh, that's fine.
Like maybe
Just-
people out there.
that's
I'll
fine.
ask questions even if I know.
That's fine.
Okay.
That's fine.
And we're going to meet with her next Tuesday, and hopefully she's going to have a hard number on what that's going to be assessed at. So we'll see. But that's the number that's been thrown at us.
We had to get past March 1st
We had to
because they
get-
could have applied for a
pilot.
pilot, and that date has come and gone, and they did not apply
They
for a
did not
pilot.
apply. They're trying to be good neighbors and want to do the right thing. So, but that's the hurdle we're going to have to get over now. Is that we're hearing that we're losing the STAR program. No, you're not losing the STAR program if we exceed the cap. Here you're going to hear, oh, you're raising my taxes 9%. No, we're not. It's a budget increase. Your taxes are staying at the cap. So
So
that's
the 9% for the budget is next year.
Next year.
next year.
We can't
Right,
use
because
it
we
this
had
year,
that
even though we'll get it.
700.
No.
When do we collect taxes? In September?
September.
Yeah.
So that's when we would get it.
So I'm going to kind of go and just slightly explain how that whole kit would work.
Yes.
We'll just
So,
use the round numbers for right now. We've actually got 670 million, but let's just say we have 700 million in assessed value
yes.
in all 4 towns combined. So 700 million is the amount of taxable property value that exists in our boundaries, okay? What the state allows for in the tax cap formula, and this is one of the major reasons why it's never actually 2% ever, because the 2% is the inflation factor, right? But let's say you have 700 million worth of property and a new business comes in and it's worth 20 million. Right now, all of a sudden, there's new value there, okay? How do you tax that without going over the cap and staying at 2%? So that's what they do here is the tax-based growth factor. And that's kind of how I estimate how much people will actually see on their tax.
How much will taxes go down next year as a result of the influx of money? On average.
On average, they could go down somewhere in the 4.7, 4.8%. Somewhere in that range.
We have to explain that as a gift, like a windfall that they get for 1 year. Not that their taxes are going down, because then they're going to complain that their taxes are going up, but rather that this happens to be the effect of this new compressor station money.
Yeah.
And so we have this little blip, which happens to go in our favor this time, and so we enjoy it. But no, your taxes will not go down end on end. They will. You got 1 year of a little gift, and then they'll be what they were. You know what I mean? We have to say it differently,
Yeah. Oh, you do.
so they understand. Because if we say your taxes are going down, they're never going to understand why they're going back up.
Exactly.
So that's what they do. So you get 50 million.
Yeah.
Right now, we don't know what it's going to be assessed at. I know what they spent to build the compressor station is $65 million. So I know that number. Speaking to her, she said conservatively use 50 million. She's hoping for a lot higher than that. But she said 50. She feels very strongly that we're safe with 50 million.
Lori King feels very strongly.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
That it's not going to be less than that. You know, she's shooting, I'm sure, for 65, but that's probably not going to happen either. So let's say it's 50 million and we had 700 million in assessed property, right?
Yes.
That's roughly 6%. So what's gonna happen is next year, they're gonna give me this tax-based growth factor, which the state comes up with that number.
If only they would do it in the same year you got the money, life would be so much easier.
I'm gonna bring something up with an idea on that, but that's a long shot. But since this is a workshop, we're gonna discuss possibilities.
All right.
I spoke with the state today when we got back from Albany.
All right.
And I started speaking to someone at the school accountability office, and I started asking more about the tax-based growth, just to make damn sure that's going to be on there next year. And
Like your life depends on it.
yes, absolutely. And I explained our situation, why I was being so insistent on finding out that it was going to be that.
Right.
And after I got done talking to her for like 10 or 15 minutes and explaining the whole situation, she said, well, why don't you call this contact over at the Department of Taxation and Finance, because they're the ones who make the number up. And she said, there's no guarantee. I couldn't get a hold of the guy. He wasn't there. They said he left. And I asked if I could get a hold of him. I said, what time does he get in the morning? So I'm call him in the morning. And she said, it's a long shot, but you should call and ask and see if they will adjust this year's number so that you could do the tax increase this year.
Knowing it's coming.
Knowing it's coming. If that were possible, would you want to do that this year?
Yes.
Get it done and present.
Yeah, because next year,
Thursday,
without,
7%.
next year we know will be a tight year. I mean, we went to Albany today to ask for money for a kindergarten teacher. I drove 7 hours for a 15-minute meeting.
10.
And
Wish it was 15.
if we can do it this year, increase the budget and only increase taxes 2% and stay under the cap, that would be ideal.
I don't think that's going to happen. I just want to say that I
Well, it's worth checking out.
Well,
Yeah, absolutely.
in other words, the taxation department might say the eggs aren't in the basket. So even though you know they're coming, they,
Right.
in September, what do we do with that money when we pick it up in September and then all year we can't use it?
It's not money, so we shouldn't look at it
Say
like
what?
it's our money. But we
Okay.
should look like what you have to look at is additional assessed value, which means that
Right.
the money that we ask for gets divided up among a larger pot so that it doesn't affect the residents as much, okay? So like, let's say you have, we'll just use an even smaller number. We'll say there's $1,000 worth of houses, right?
Okay.
And you're taxing $100. So you divide that $100 among $1,000 worth of property. Now $100 worth of property gets added. Now there's $1,100. So now you can tax $110, and everybody will pay exactly the same as what they were before.
Okay.
So that's what's happening. We don't just get the money.
Okay.
People have to approve it. We have to approve a tax warrant, and then we divide that money amongst a larger amount of value. So that's why I like to look at it as a percent. So the value of our district just went up 7%, which means I can raise taxes 7%, and everybody would have the same bill.
Okay.
So they're not sending us a check that sits in a bank that I can't use.
Okay.
They just add to the value that I divide what we are charging. And then you get your 2% increase. So I would get 7 plus 2 would be the 9. Everybody's bill would go up 2%, and the 7% would get absorbed by this new development.
That's where taxes go down.
And now, usually how
That's
they
where taxes go down.
and that's why
I
taxes go
understand.
down this year.
That's why taxes
It's
go down.
at the
Yes.
roll, but we're only going to increase taxes 2.3, but the assessment went up 7%, so that additional 4.7 in there
Yes.
is going to be a reduction in everybody else's taxes.
This year,
This year.
but only 1 year.
Yes, and now normally, my understanding, and the reason that I didn't know that this could, when I reached out today, normally they will only adjust this number for errors. And this is not an error. But because I started pleading the case, they said, well, make a case, give your tail a woe.
And we have quite the tale.
And we do. And because I told her we were the most fiscally distressed school in the state.
Right.
She said, well, you got a shot, talk to the guy who comes up with a number and see if you can work something out to get it this year.
Is the board comfortable, in the absence of doing it this year, doing it next year and not exceeding the cap for this year?
I think that, honestly, I think that you'd get a budget passed, because so many people are talking about the busting through the tax cap
Right.
and not approving the
Well,
budget.
the loss of the property tax relief check is a real issue.
It's a hit.
And if we don't have to do that, why would we do that?
It's definitely, I think, better for the residents to not lose it, and he convinced me of it, because at first I was advocating to keep going over the cap, but what happens is, it's very regressive. So you have someone making 30 grand is gonna be the one who loses the 400.
Right.
Right.
You know,
I kept,
so it's-
That's
I kept
just it.
badgering him until he
It's
came
people
around.
who really can't afford to get hit, so it's not.
That's right.
That's why we decided, well, it's definitely probably in the best interest to go the other way.
Well, and I think we're on the right track because
Yeah.
we have always been about, one, transparency, and two, about getting all the information out there, no matter how hard it is for us to explain it sometimes, to try to get the people to understand where we're coming from. This is thinking of them, you know, and all of us taxpayers as well, but it's thinking of the taxpayer. And why not? If we can do it, why wouldn't we not affect that? Because we didn't know, actually, when we first talked about exceeding the cap, we
Right.
didn't realize the
If we
tax
knew that.
relief check was
Oh,
going
yeah.
to be impacted
Well,
either.
and if we knew about the compressor, we would have taken a different approach.
Right. So when we get the information, they get the information though. As soon as we're sure, like you said, you had to wait until they filed for a pilot,
Oh, yeah.
you know, March
Do
1st.
that and then have them file for a pilot and say, oh.
Yeah, we were a week and a
Start
half.
over again.
We were a week and a half down there talking to Lori, we had to wait till March 1st.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Well, and that also has to come, like, all of this has to, I mean, I'm sure you already know that, but come out to the public how hard it was and that you all worked and we're coming
It's
together
gonna be a
to
tight
work
year
toward
next
it.
year.
It is.
It's gonna be, then
We're not gonna be able to add the kindergarten teacher we wanted to add. The SROs are on hold unless we get money from the Assemblywoman.
Right.
And we went to Albany today to ask Senator Metzger for money for the kindergarten teacher.
That doesn't look promising.
No, it doesn't look promising. The state is short a couple of $1 billion.
So how does that affect us?
Run
Just a
10 months.
couple.
How does that affect us with kindergarten?
Well, we might have to do what we did this year again next year.
A blended. Were you able to look into what I was talking to you about BOCES services,
No.
sharing it?
No?
Sharing.
May I discuss that?
Mm-hmm.
So, it was brought to my attention through Monticello that there are schools that share services. So instead of sending a student to BOCES, which costs over $100,000, to share services like in Monticello, which will only cost $14,000,
Sure.
to send the
You can do that.
student there.
If they have a consortium class.
We've always
Well,
done that. We've always done that. Back when I was CSE chair, we shared services as much
Right.
as we could.
Well, and we don't with the district right now. So Monticello, it was brought to me because I'm on,
I think she's talking about placing kids in
Yeah,
this
placing
special ed
kids.
program instead of at BOCES.
Yes, in Monticello or in Jeff Youngsville, when it was in Sullivan
Not
West.
as part of BOCES though, as part of Monticello.
yeah, as part of
Not a
Monticello.
BOCES.
But still
class.
getting the special ed classroom, we'd still be their CSE chair.
Right.
Yeah, so it's, okay.
And you'd still be able to stack for higher course
You're right,
aid.
it's not through BOCES. I think ours were all BOCES classes that, no, actually
That
they
kind of
weren't.
arrangement is
They weren't.
common in Westchester, the consortium class. We were going to do that here. I was going to do a 612, and we decided Bob is doing it next year. He's opening up 3 or 4 classes, so we didn't do it.
So in Monticello in the high school, like they have the life skills class, and that's the students that just can't do math and they do the alternative assessment. And it was researched through administrators and such, and that's why I'm bringing it to you, because it's not just someone saying, hey, look, I teach this class. I just, that
Special
would be.
education costs are going up significantly.
Yeah, because
And if
looking
we
through
can do
here,
something to lower that, we should do that.
I think that would be something to sit and talk with Tammy Mangus,
I
the
will.
superintendent.
Well,
Because if it only costs if it only costs 14 whatever for the
A
student,
612 placement
Well-
with 4 students in the class is $211,000 per kid.
That's the tuition.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
At
the school
BOCES.
year, not transportation, not the summer.
And if you send them to Monticello, you just pay the Monticello tuition, which is 14.
Right. The question
Well, it
is,
would be higher for special ed.
It would be probably 40.
In
Well,
It would be
ye-
in the 40s.
in the past, when
no,
the
that's
CS,
not what I was told by an administrator. It wasn't until 40 something.
I think that's
the
incorrect.
class would cost
Okay.
more than just the tuition.
Because the regular ed tuition is significantly lower than the special ed tuition.
You take their salary and divide by 12 or 10 or
14
7.
for regular, about 40 something for special, right?
Yeah, well, I know Liberty charges us 33 and change.
Who does?
That's what
Liberty.
special ed.
It's still better than the 200 something
Sure.
thousand
Yes.
for BOCES.
Well, that's for a 612. I doubt Monticello's got a 612.
No, they have the lowest I think they have is a 12.11.
So
We're opening a 12-1-1 in our high school this year, next year.
Now-
Rather than sending the kids to BOCES, it would cost about $400,000 to send those kids to BOCES. We're going to do it for the cost of a teacher here.
when we do that, will we open it up to the county if they want to fill the 1211 because we don't have enough? I'm sure we don't have 12.
We can certainly do that, and we can share with Monticello back and forth. We can have their 12-1-1 here, and maybe have,
Yeah.
if she has an 8-1-1 there, maybe we can do that.
The key to this, because it isn't through
I will meet
BOCES,
with Tammy.
the key is to have the CSE chairs or the superintendents share what they have in all of the
Yeah, county.
counties. Because driving to BOCES is the same as Liberty or Monticello or Sullivan West or,
Just know that
Fallsburg.
BOCES may not be totally in favor.
Well, that's a 6 or a half. The fact is, if there are classes that are running in the schools and we have the right student who has the need, that's the key. So we have a life skills child, that's great. We don't have to send them to BOCES, we can send them to Monticello, we check out that program, we see the parents agree. It's a step, it's a process,
Budget for-
So that would be excellent, but you have to know where the classes are. Like we just heard about this one, we have to hear about Fallsburg and Liberty, and we have one in Liberty apparently, huh? A kid that goes to Liberty?
We have one, he's a 504.
Okay, oh, that's different altogether. That's
But they
interesting.
get to charge, there's a flat rate special ed tuition that's for the state aid, that state aid department.
Yeah.
Allows them to charge.
Why do we have a 50? Never mind.
Yes.
Oh, please.
So we're all on the same page with waiting until next year and increasing the budget next year.
Yes.
Not this year coming, but the following year. A budget about 9%, tax 2% or less. And this year coming up, you're going to explore if there's any chance of putting that factor into this year. If not, next year will be a 2.3% increase.
Yeah.
And Caleb will have to, we'll do some belt tightening to get through.
Yeah, it's a long shot to get it on this year, but it's something I'm going to explore.
So we'll assume it's not going to happen,
I will.
and that's probably a safe assumption.
Yeah.
And everybody's on the same page with waiting a year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Anything
we'll
that's
have to
gonna
tell
help.
folks the good news that they're getting their property tax relief check, and we're not exceeding the cap.
Yes.
And that their taxes will drop a little bit, but they'll go up next year to the same level they were. And they'll be happy now, and next year, hopefully they'll remember what we told them. We'll have to keep telling them.
That's right.
Does that also mean that the town is getting a similar benefit from the taxes
Yeah.
of the, well, that's wonderful for the town.
Get that
If
one.
only the Eldred Preserve didn't have their pilot, we would be in very good shape.
Well,
Yes.
We'd have been in
I put
good
it-
shape for this year.
Right?
Let me ask something about that Elder Reserve pilot, because as they build houses and they sell these houses, then those houses go on the tax rolls, no?
The pilot program, a percentage of it goes, not fully assessed until 15 years.
For the houses with people living in them?
No.
The housing development in
Yeah.
Run Sunrise, I don't even know if that's going.
It's behind the
I know where it
new
is.
resort, right?
I know where it is.
But that's not started yet. But they don't have a pilot. That's
No,
not part of it.
they
Okay.
don't have a pilot, no.
Okay, that's what I was
But
trying to
the big-
understand.
The big, that's a
That's 20, going to be 20 million or something.
20,
Yeah.
If
$25
the Eldred
million
Preserve
project.
had the same disposition as the compressor people, we'd be in good shape.
Yep.
Well,
Because the compressor
That would
people
happen.
want to be a part of the community and want to do the right thing.
have we asked them
It's only about
at the
$1,000,000.
Elder Preserve?
I called
Your friends.
well, not friends, but people I know, yes.
Yes.
I have not gotten a phone call back to set up so that either you or I, or, because you do great talking, you guys go. So
We
when I
should
get
ask.
called back from Mr. Samuelson,
It's a
I'm
closer
working-
drive
I'm
than
working
Albany.
angle there too.
Yes,
All
and
right.
if we
So
need,
Scott Samuelson is the legislator over there. He's the CEO over there. I used to sing at the Brass there. So that's why I went through. And I know Silna for years. But
So we should at least ask. Doesn't hurt to ask.
We definitely are, because I'm working in a different ends. I know she's working one side, I'm working the other side.
because he came and sang for when we raised the funds for the pre-K program.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
And he was excellent.
maybe.
I was there then. That was the
Yeah.
time.
you want to talk about our meetings with the
Could I just
seniors?
ask about the tax base growth factor? It sounds to me that would be a discount off of the total assessment. What is that?
The tax-based growth factor? No, that is a second multiplication. So a lot of people think there's a 2% tax cap. So if I'm taxing $1,000, I get to do $1,020 the next year. But actually what you do is you start with what you taxed last year.
Right.
You multiply it by the percentage of increase in your assessed value. So
With the new 50 million.
yeah, so
Yes, to teach
if your
PEMDAS.
if your assessed value in your district goes up 2%, you get 2%. So you get 2%, you multiply, and then you get another 2%.
Oh, you get more.
Yeah, because they're saying that there's new property, and so they're accounting for that. Because otherwise, everybody comes in.
But it's counted in the increased assessment. Why is there another factor?
No, but it's not. It's not on our end. We tax. Taxes are calculated on what we say, and then divided amongst the total assessed value, not the other way around. So if I tax $10 million and a new property for $20 million comes in, I get $10 million. Unless we raise taxes. What happens is everybody else pays less because you divide that $10 million among everybody else.
Right. But you're saying the state calculates that factor.
That's how I come up with my cap, because I take what I taxed last year, multiply it by the change in assessed value,
Good.
then put in some exclusions, take out some exclusions,
Yes.
and then multiply by the actual 2% cap.
They're not manipulating the assessment value.
No, that's just a way for them to account for the fact that new businesses come in. And like even that number does not include like if your property gets assessed at a higher value, it doesn't include that. It's only new construction, new
I need to
additions,
see the numbers
Okay.
in
new
it.
businesses on
But
the
I do
tax.
know PEMDAS.
And that's
I
just
teach it.
because they say, okay, well, now you can raise taxes and it won't affect anybody's tax
it?
bill.
So,
Okay.
May I ask something? If it works out with, sharing the services, and that would reduce how much we spend on BOCES services, would that get us the kindergarten teacher for next year?
It's hard to say, because
It's a
it seems that
possibility.
every time I take a step forward, we take 2 steps back. We just arranged for transportation. We had kindergartners on the bus for an hour and a half going to White Sulphur. And although it's not illegal, it's not appropriate.
it's not healthy.
And
Right,
in
so
order to
Monticello
fix
would be
that,
closer than
there's an
that.
expense.
Yeah, but they don't have that class.
Yes, it-
White Sulphur's elementary.
Yeah,
Well,
we have 15, 1, 12,
One of
1 in
our
our
people are going to
elementaries.
drive, for the rest of this year,
Yeah.
Adam's going to drive in the morning and Dave will drive in the afternoon.
Okay.
So
I was able to do it with our existing staff.
Oh, we're gonna transport them?
Yep.
All right.
we have 15, 1 and 12 ones in our elementaries too in
Yes.
Monticello. That'd be
But
closer
an hour
than
and a
White
half on the
Sulphur.
bus is, for a kindergarten, is not acceptable.
Kindergarten.
Not good.
Well, that's what I'm saying, like
One way.
Monticello's closer.
We can look into it. We should look into it.
I would advise against that, if it saves us money, because we're gonna have to spend money for the special ed teacher in general. If we can do this and it makes it so I don't have to hire a special ed teacher, we're still kind of towing the line. This is a very.
Well, we have to hire a special ed teacher for the high school. If we can pick up some kids from other schools in the 12-1-1 to offset the cost, that would be great.
And why would you have to hire a special ed if our kids go to Monticello? They have the teachers and the programming.
Well, some of the things we've explored are we have
I
3
don't know if they
12-1-1
have. I'm gonna have to see
students
them.
in BOCES already.
Uh-huh,
I'm told that there will be 3 more
okay.
potentially, and that's why we needed to hire a special ed teacher. Then what hopefully we'll be able to do is take 3 of them back. That's something I'm trying to explore. I don't know if it's possible or not. They are in the correct grade areas, but I
So
don't
are
know
they
what's
high
going to
school?
take.
Are they high school,
That's
those
not
3
the decision.
kids?
Yeah, they're within the 3-year age span.
Yes, but that's not a decision.
But
for
it
me
may
to
not
make.
be,
We're putting it
we have to talk to the CSC chair to see if it's an appropriate move.
Are they high school?
Yes.
Well, then that's, all right, I was just saying that those programs exist in the elementary too, if we had like 1 or 2 elementary, because
So-
Dr. Morgana was saying they go to
On
White
Thursday,
Sulphur.
on Thursday, then, I'd like to ask the administration, be it Zeta, you, Caleb, however, to find out what classes are available in the county. We might as well have a list and know what's available.
Absolutely.
And if it's, if they are, we do something with it, great. It still has to go by the CSE, the parents have to agree, and it has to be the right placement. There's a lot of ifs, but we might as well know what the classes are.
And it
So
has to
I will
be-
do that on Thursday.
It can't be a school like Tri-Valley, it's too far
No,
away. It
no,
has
of
to
course
be
not.
Sullivan West, Monticello,
Fallsburg.
someplace
But
where the kids
Fallsburg
not
is
on the
just
bus.
as far as White Sulphur though.
Right, but that's BOCES. I'm saying not as far as Sullivan West. We don't care what they have necessarily.
But I'm just saying Fallsburg is just as far, so we would want something closer.
If possible, but that's what I'm saying, let's find out what classes. Just because they have the classes doesn't mean they're appropriate for the
No,
kids,
yeah,
that's what we
no,
have to
I
find
hear what you're
out.
saying.
So we shouldn't get ahead of ourselves thinking we're gonna send kids anywhere.
But I
And-
like the idea of taking in kids from other schools in our 12-on-1, because we won't have 12 kids.
Right.
And I have a feeling you'd have schools parents that would like to get them in
So,
a nicer
that's-
school district.
And that's tuition money, and
Yeah.
that can offset some expenses.
I have a question about this. You gave us, this is the budget reflecting the not exceeding the cap? Is that what this is?
Yes, this is a 2.
You want to talk about the contingency budget?
The contingency budget, well, if we go into a contingency budget, we're,
No, let's not talk about that. We're gonna pass this.
yeah, I'm just gonna talk about it. quick.
Okay, fine.
2
Talk
minutes.
about it.
If we go into a contingency budget, we're gonna be, of course, since we're not gonna be able to raise taxes by the 240,000, we're gonna have to find that 240,000 somewhere. And there's maybe $40,000 that I can find that's not in people.
Right,
So in
and we
other
know
words,
that would be a bad
cuts.
place to go. Right now, we have to operate on the assumption and the understanding from the public that we have their support.
But they need
They've
to
been
know,
showing
they
that.
need to know what the ramifications are if the
Yes.
budget goes down.
Exactly.
That means no more
Yes.
kindergarten and no more preschool, minimally. And $240,000 worth of people is a lot of people.
Yeah.
And-
We're too lean
We just did
program-wise
that.
as
Right.
it is.
It would devastate the school district.
Yeah.
If we have a budget defeat 5 years from now, we would survive it. If we have a budget defeat now while we're trying to get on our feet, it would be devastating.
Yeah.
That's why I think it's important not to exceed the cap.
And this is going to be a tight budget, I can't say it enough.
So can you talk about this budget? Are we presenting this on Thursday?
I'm presenting it on Thursday, I'll give you a quick overview of what's in it.
All right.
Otherwise, if you go to page, the 4th page is blank. If you go to page 6, it's gonna be one that ends with total general support. 6 and 9, it's insurance. schools
Next
of-
time, number the pages.
I will.
Sorry,
It's a
honey.
good idea.
Which one is it?
This one's the one.
Starts with insurance.
It'll end with insurance, you'll see total general support.
6. Teaching regular school?
Nope, too far.
The blank page is
Got it.
4.
Page right before it.
Okay.
Okay, so you'll look down there, you see total general support, $4,000 higher than last year. That's like
Definitely.
almost no increase to our plant, maintenance, operations, superintendent, business office. All of that is largely flat. I'm assuming that in the contractual increases that we have to give are in there. So I cut some money out of, one thing we're not gonna do is normally we seal one of the driveways almost every year.
Yeah.
We're
We're
not
not
doing
doing
it.
that next year.
We'll do both of them the following year.
That's $40,000. And it's just, you know, we, it'd be nice to do it like that, but we can live without it in a lean year.
How can you, what's with the school association dues? How can it be $4,000 less?
That is an accounting issue. So what
Wow.
they've been doing, you look at, the board, the contractual on the Board of Education, very front page is much higher.
Okay.
What they've been doing
Oh.
every year, and this is our accounting department, which is other BOCES, and this is not wrong, you just want consistency.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make it consistent, is they've been putting our NISBA dues, which is really a school association due, but it's also a Board of Education due.
Right.
So they've been putting in the Board of Education every year, which means we've been way over budget in Board of Education every year, and way under budget every year in our school association dues. And so I just accounted for that, I switched it around.
Okay.
I'm fine with it putting it under the board, it's the New York State School Board Associations, it's like $6,800. It gives us access to lawyers, for certain contractual
Sure.
things.
We need it. We can't go without it. No.
Yeah, no, and I like to go to those lawyers sometimes if it's a simple question rather than ours, because then we don't get billed 100
Right.
some odd dollars an hour.
How, is it an accounting difference also with the BOCES administration and capital?
Nope, that is.
11,000?
That is based on our Rwanda.
Oh,
So that's the only benefit of the declining enrollment, because we went down 50 students. We get charged, I think it's $300 per student less, so that's 15 grand, and then they increased, their yearly increase, so they came out to $11,000.
okay. Thank you.
And my contract entitles me to up to a 3% increase. I will accept no increase.
Wow.
It
Thank
shows
you.
a decrease on his right now. but
Really?
That's an accounting issue too.
Take advantage of the guy.
He's not.
If and when we're ever on our feet, I'd consider it. Not until then.
Thank you.
Yes.
There's nothing to say but thank you. I just am in awe of you.
Caleb,
Yeah.
what about the line item below that, the increase of over 30,000? For
Line item below
for the
We're on
elementary
6.
school principal?
We're on page 6.
Oh, so, one of them is, last year, these were of course transposed, so the 137 last year, that was Scott, right? So he's now the 146, moved over.
Okay.
And then what happened with the elementary school is Jean gets paid a higher salary and less in benefits. So she takes no health insurance, that's $25,000.
No retirement
And no
contribution.
retirement. So she comes in at about the same, just a little bit less than Janine's contract was, but
The overall
higher salary,
expenses.
less in benefits.
Okay.
So I budgeted for that. And then I also budgeted, this is just me being conservative, it's not necessarily what's happening, but I budgeted the highest contractual increase allowed for everybody.
Oh, so this is not
That doesn't
actual.
happen.
You might as well. You might as
But
well.
You always
Just
have to
not
do that.
actual.
Now that I understand better how you actually budget compared to how we actually spend, now I get it.
Budget for the worst.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
left
we do
over.
that in our private budgets, oh, I understand, but I
You
just
have to
didn't.
budget for the worst reasonable case. If
Yeah.
it's possible for it to
Yeah,
happen, and you
contractual.
know that it's possible, then
You gotta
you should
plan
assume
for it.
that it could happen. If
Right.
it doesn't, then you're okay. Because also, I've learned throughout the year, umpteen other things come up. And money goes out, money comes in.
Right.
Just like home.
Unexpectedly.
I might have to hire
always
you
gotta
for my
leave
own budget.
yourself a little leeway. So if their contract doesn't go up to 3%, I budget 3%.
Right. I gotcha. I hear you. All right. Any other big changes that we don't know about?
In the general and support, no, I cut a lot out of supplies and, no, mostly equipment, contractual on the building repair side. Otherwise, I kept it flat. I just didn't increase. Then we go over to teaching. You're gonna see that in our teaching area, I didn't increase very much. The teachers do all get a contractual, it's about 2.7% is what it ends up being. But that was offset slightly in other areas, so we spend less in substitutes than we ever budget for.
And they went to 10% next year, right? Does that help?
Not on this line. I'm gonna help down on the health insurance line.
All right.
This line, what's happening is we had $130,000 leave in alternative education costs.
Say that again?
We have 6 kids in an alternative education program for the high school, not special ed kids, students that are having difficulty in.
In our high school?
Yes. And so there's 6 of them placed at $34,000 each. One of them is in a new school. They're gone. Another is guaranteed to graduate this year. There's no chance that they won't. Another 2 are scheduled to graduate, may or may not. Another one left mid-year, and then we have one that will definitely be in it. So there's only one that's definitely going to be in it. I'm ordering 2 seats because I don't know that both of them are going to graduate, and I'll go back down to 1 seat if in April they say they're definitely going to graduate.
Excellent.
But so we're going from 6 down to 2
Yeah.
seats at 34,000 a seat,
That's beautiful. That's
and
beautiful.
because of
Good.
graduation, which is even better thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's the way you want them to.
Yeah.
You want them to graduate.
That's the way you want it to go. So teaching is flat. You're gonna see special ed went up $300,000. That was like a 9% increase, and that's almost the entire increase in the budget.
What's the 7 through 12 drop?
Where's the
Salaries 7 through 12.
That went up. Oh, drop over here, so we're back on regular ed?
Teaching regular school, sorry.
Teaching
I'm
regular
behind.
school, okay, so what I did, BOCES had some of our teachers coded to the wrong,
The page after the insurance page.
grade.
It
Ah.
says teaching regular
So
school.
I went in and filled out a spreadsheet of which teachers are teaching in the school.
Okay, that's why K through
And
6.
so, and you'll see that it's almost identical
Okay.
now. It wasn't last year.
Okay.
So salary non-instructional.
Contractual elementary school went from 40 to 80 on the teaching regular school page.
That is correct, $70,000. This budget includes the SROs.
Oh,
Oh,
It includes
okay.
$95,000 from Aileen Gunther. If that 95 doesn't come in, they don't come in.
We
Right.
can budget that even though we might
can-
not get it?
We can budget money that we might not get, but when we don't get it, we have to not spend it.
I get it.
That's-
Bingo.
So.
So
the
that's what
important
this
thing
is
to remember.
about.
We don't get it, we don't hire the officers.
Yeah.
So that 80 is 70,000 plus there's an additional 10,000 for other contractual needs that we need. And then the 110 includes the 70 for the SRO and 40 for Anthony.
For who?
Anthony.
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 And then what about the salaries non-instruction, 28 to 60?
Salaries not instruction 28 to 60. Those are, we budgeted that before I put all the aides in. We hired like 4 aides in the middle of the year.
Okay, so now
So it
that
wasn't
shows,
budgeted for last year, but we hired them and now I'm budgeting for
and
it.
so they're called non-instructional.
Yes, because they're
Okay.
not on the faculty, they're not.
Did we hire the full-time special substitute? Weren't we gonna hire a full-time substitute? It's on this coming up Thursday? Okay.
Caleb, before we go too much further, I just want to say you did an excellent job.
Wow.
You did do an
Yeah.
excellent job.
And by the way, I think you also did an excellent job last month, because questions come up, somebody's up there at the microphone, and you handle it very nicely. And you also answered the people very, not only respectfully, but knowledgeably without, you know, without
Put an extra $5 on your salary.
money speak.
That's all
So
we
you,
can
you
spare.
can go to Disney World at the end of the year. I know. Good job.
So we go over to the special ed, what ends up happening here, you go to 7 through 12 is a, slight increase there. That's only one teacher, that's not all raised. What happens with declining enrollment, another negative side effect is Title I, which is what we use to pay these teachers.
Yeah, goes down.
Goes down, it's not a person per pupil. The idea funds don't necessarily.
Well, thank God, because usually that number never changes. The special ed numbers, even if our enrollment goes down, we don't necessarily have special ed numbers that go down too.
Yeah, so on the teaching, although that didn't go up quite as bad, you'll see here that the BOCES services is where we went up. And a big portion of that is, which Dr. Morgano already spoke to. I budgeted $211,000 for a student.
Yeah,
They very well may only end up being 70. I have no idea.
sure, but you
I don't know where their placement is going to be. And again, that's not my area. That's the CSE
sure.
share. But the worst case scenario financially, I budgeted for it. And that would be if they went to the Sullivan BOCES 612 program and there was only 4 or less students that showed up, because BOCES did commit to, if it's less than 4, it's $211,000.
Does this reflect the Center for Discovery kids? Don't we have?
Yes, that's that $375 tuition to other schools.
Okay.
There's 2 in Center for Discovery. There's 1 in Gene Black, in ARC, and Kildonan. There's 1 in Chinole,
I don't expect you to know
Liberty. And,
this offhand.
Well, just to give you an idea of where we've got students going. I think that was it. I think there's 5.
We have one
that are
student not placed.
Oh, okay.
And then the other increases are, BOCES is increasing their costs like 5% on a lot of the classes. So-
Medical
Yeah.
didn't go up a lot, right?
Oh, no, we got a good, when we get to
Thank
medical,
goodness.
that was wonderful news. Really good news on that.
Why did, on the next page, school library,
There's,
school library and audio visual on the next page.
Yep.
That went from 38 to 61,000?
38 to 61. Yeah, I don't know why it was ever 38. We don't pay that teacher 38. And that's what that teacher does exclusively.
So that's her salary reflected
Yeah,
there?
that's,
Oh.
I bet that's her actual salary. That's
Maybe
what
there
we're
was some
paying.
salary for her someplace else.
That number will be almost spot on. It's just a
Yeah,
contractual
Anthony's
number. I
saying-
looked, that's what she's getting paid.
Yeah, that's funny.
I have no idea why we just, you know what it was? It was before the MOA happened. That's
Yeah.
what she was making, and I think we just
Oh,
carried it over.
sure.
But that is just reflecting that, and otherwise everything's flat there. There's not any new actual spending.
Not bad.
I just, as I go on, I'm gonna try to keep tightening up the budget in areas where
Yeah.
it just wasn't realistic in the past. So computer instruction, there really isn't any change to that. I just started taking money out of the $5,000 out of contractual. I'm not sure, and the only reason I would take more, but I'm not sure what we're gonna be able to do with our printers.
Okay.
We have to have a data protection expert, so
So there's that too.
I'm gonna ask Tina to take on those responsibilities. I don't know that she's gonna do it for nothing.
So,
Is she full-time, Tina?
so that's kind of why I left. I didn't take too much out of that because
We're still negotiating.
it's areas where we're probably gonna
Tina
have to-
is our IB,
BOCES went down.
tech person. She's our tech
IT,
person.
yeah.
Computer aided instruction with that.
She, that's what she does all day,
Yeah,
right?
that's
Is-
also
yeah.
based on her enrollment.
I gotta
Good
come
one.
in, I gotta come in one day when she's in the building and get my phone back. She made my phone get the emails from you guys, and now I don't get them. So after one of the storms, it just stopped happening.
Better coming in Friday and having Jed look at it.
Jed,
Jed Jackson from BOCES.
is he here on Fridays?
Yep,
Okay.
and he's very skilled.
All right, I'll come on Friday. Well, Tina did it last time, but
And he's
that's
doing
fine.
better with his kids.
In guidance, I have 44,600 budgeted for 2 days of guidance from BOCES. Hopefully that comes through. Otherwise, we're gonna have to figure out some way to do it in-house.
And I have someone in mind.
Nice.
We're required to give it, I figured 2 days would be enough. There's no day requirement. It's
What
just
is that?
There's no
required.
time requirement. It has to be available for the kids.
Okay.
And we have somebody certified in counseling.
Over on the health, admin, changing, psychological services, digital curricular, I talked to JJ, and even after the raises to the coaches, which is 1.5% contractually.
Yeah.
I told him I'm gonna keep the athletics flat, so he's gonna have to make do with a little bit less supplies. than he
Well,
did
some
last
of
year.
these things went up 3,000 and 4,000,
Exactly.
you know, in football. Went from
Yeah,
89 to 11.
That's
I
right,
mean,
we're gonna have,
8, 9 to 11.
modified.
Okay, I was wondering.
Yeah, but we're also, there's not gonna be a boys golf, there wasn't enough interest.
Okay.
So that's gonna pay for that, and I'm keeping it completely flat, so what I told him was, any increases in coaches is coming out of supplies and contraction, which he had
Yeah.
no problem with.
Because we do have
He's
quite a
very
bit
good
of,
at that.
I could show
And-
him how to not play golf.
And Mr. Gass and I have started looking at a PE and athletics grant.
Okay,
Fair.
So that's one, I tried to sit down with David Binkowski when he did the new floor, which would have paid for a good portion of the floor. It's a lot to fill out, so we're looking into that one because it's opened up again, because the school used it. It's only opened up to like a few schools because of the way that the grant is. So we're looking into that, and I spoke to the Little League and some of the coaches there and stuff, and they'd like to do do like a softball tournament this summer. I have to talk to the town of Lumberland for the field, but to raise money for the athletics in the district. So because like the retaining, is that called the retaining wall
Well,
at the track?
the wall is not in trouble yet. The track has holes in it, and
That's
the
it,
water
the
is
hole.
undermining the wall. If we don't resurface that track soon, and that has to be done in a bond, we'll lose the wall.
Yeah.
But Caleb and I were there. We walked the wall. Were you with me, or was it
I wasn't
JJ?
on this one, but
It
I
was
walked.
Don
it.
Dredd.
JJ. I walked all around that track and looked at the wall. It's not tilted, but the water is undermining it. So if it's let go another couple of years,
No, we
we'll need a
shouldn't do
wall.
that. We need to, can't lose
They
the,
didn't put a drain, they didn't put a drain behind that wall when it comes out there. You'll see.
I know there's spots in the track where you can put your foot right through and fall in a hole.
Yeah, definitely can't have
Good
it.
Lord,
Kids
that's
breaking their
terrible.
ankles.
No.
So you can't use the track for running.
No.
It's dangerous.
How long
We
ago was that
spent a
track
lot of
put
money
in?
on that track
Yeah, we did.
in the last building.
JJ thinks it can be
thing.
fixed and not totally redone. So we'll have to have somebody in to look at it.
How long ago was that track put in?
I have no idea.
It was put in after we moved here, so after 2006.
Yeah, it was a big deal. It was, with the building of the high school, that year, the same year as the high school.
Late 90s, early 2000s?
Improvements.
No,
No,
it wasn't there
no,
in
closer.
2006. It was still a
Yeah.
dirt track
I
in
would say
2006.
maybe 7 or 8 years
Yeah,
ago.
so it was not that long ago.
Maybe 8 years.
Because something needs to be done with that and something needs to be done with seating. Seating could be built into that hill.
Right.
And that's what we were looking at as part of the bond. But the bond may be put off a year because of the budget being put off a year.
Can you put off the bond? Because I thought you said you have to, because it's
It would be
up.
best to have one come on when one comes off.
Right.
Yeah, it would be best, but you can.
Well, I guess we could do it. We're
Why-
not raising
why not?
taxes.
We're not raising taxes.
More than
It's
two,
already in the
less than
budget.
2%.
But that bond's already in the budget,
Yeah,
so if we
bond-
roll
bond's
one
there.
off and roll the same amount back on,
And
we
if
can
you,
do
we're not hurting the tax.
if you do that, then you could fix the track?
We can fix the track.
That's the best
and
way to do
This
it,
building
really.
needs a roof.
Yeah.
The metal on this building has to be replaced.
And what about
Yeah.
the generator for the high school? Would that be
Well-
able to go under it too?
That would be nice. That's 400,000.
But that's the way to do it, because when we roll one bond off and roll another one on, there's no impact to the public. And yet we get to fix things that we really can't afford to fix
Because
otherwise.
if you
Right.
don't fix that track soon, you're gonna
The
have
roof,
to have a
the
whole new
track.
track.
We
And
just
if,
shy
and
of
if you
$1
present it
million.
also because the kids will get hurt, and there's a
Really?
lot of kids on
Yeah.
track.
You can't use the track.
No,
It's
that's what I'm
dangerous.
saying. Like, if you say that we need to do this because
Yeah.
kids will get hurt, we have tons of kids on track, and the football too.
Yep.
Because they use the inside the field, right, for the football?
Correct.
Well, football fields are raised, the track that's getting right.
Yeah, but they still have to walk across the track from
The
their-
drainage
where
on
they
that
sit.
Yeah,
field
but it's a
is-
far end, they don't walk
There's
across the
something to
track
be
at the far
desired.
end.
Yeah, but if you go after a rainstorm right at the one
Yeah.
goal post is just flooded.
Oh, yeah.
But they'll still
They have to put
play.
a dry well
Oh,
in
yeah.
there.
Yeah, they'll still play, so it's still dangerous.
You're gonna have to try to find out they got drains behind that wall. That's
Yeah,
big.
I thought they did such a good job. Weren't we so happy
Well,
with
maybe
that?
they do have drains, but the track, if you walk down the far end of the track, there are spots where you can put your foot right through the,
What if it's just clogged with leaves or something? Maybe we should, get it looked at.
well,
get it
we have to
looked
have an
at.
engineer look at it.
Yeah.
We do. That's in the budget for next year.
And we
Is
have to
it?
have an
We don't
engineer
need it,
look at the,
The engineers in the budget?
To look
I
at that
have
track?
them in the budget. We have them in the budget every year. I left them
You're
in
so
case
Good.
you use them.
smart.
what a clever boy.
But that's money that you can do a budget appropriation, which he's allowed to do. That's not the right word though. Budget transfer.
To transfer from one to the other, yes.
So you can transfer from that budget line to, and usually what I do with things like that, wait till right around now, which is we're exploring what we can do this year, and you say, project out, where am I heading? I don't like to spend it at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
'Cause
But
I don't
maybe
know
the
what's
track
gonna
should
happen.
be
I don't
looked
know
at
if
this
somebody's
spring.
gonna need some kind of transportation, or the whole thing.
When does the bond come off?
One of the bonds are going to come off in October. I'll make the last payment, and then another one's going to come off in the spring of this.
And what's the total
This
between the
school
two?
year?
1.9
This school year, 1.9, not this one, the 19.
million?
1.9. There's a $400,000 energy performance contract and a $1.5 million tax cert bond.
'Cause
Yeah,
we
because
need,
sorry.
we need the roof, the metal roof here, the track, seating, and some other electrical work. The sign for this school is in the wrong place. You pass by this school at night, you can drive right past it.
You don't even know.
We're gonna move the sign to the road and electrify it. We can do that without the bond.
I have, this was excellent news that I thought. He was on the phone with me when I got
The
it.
insurance?
Not just the insurance, if you look at the employee benefits, this is like, great news.
Last
There-
page,
It's not
right?
a huge amount that it's down, but it's, the fact
Oh,
that
it's
it's
down.
is crazy.
Down, period.
Down $20,000 in total.
Proud that?
Well, TRS is going from a
Market is strong.
10.6% contribution to an 8.8. So take all of the teacher salaries, multiply that by 2%, and that's how much less we're paying into TRS next year. NICERS ended up, ERS ended up about the same, but it didn't increase. Social Security, Medicare, went up a little bit, their raise salaries will go up a little bit. Workers' comp is going to stay the same. Unemployment, well, we don't have cuts this year, down.
It's transfer to school lunch.
Health insurance is like a 0.9% increase or
I don't know what
something
that's
very,
great.
very low like that. I mean, it's like $30 for a family thing per month.
What were you thinking?
Extra.
Great, yeah.
I was figuring like 5 to 7%. That's what it usually is. It was 5%
Short of
last
that?
year. I thought it'd be closer to 7.
It's just,
And
Russians doing
then the health
business.
insurance buyout and Medicare reimbursement, I don't expect much change. But yeah, it was excellent news. You'll see the bond payment went down by 30,000. That's because the energy performance contract, usually we have 2 payments a year. The one payment is the last payment on it, so there's no second payment. So that's that. Otherwise, about the same. I kept the transfer to school lunch the same, but I think school lunch will also go to 75. I think we're gonna have to change that one day.
We gotta look at that again. We have to look at the school lunch thing.
Yeah.
It's just a big black
It's
hole.
doing a little better this year.
Is it? You feel good about it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It said it's doing better. It was like, so instead of.
I love your honesty,
So
really.
instead of like 50,000, it's like 30,000.
Yeah.
Above that, 75.
Yeah. Oh, only.
So instead of 125 coming from the general fund, it's 105.
Right.
So we made progress at least in the right direction.
We made good progress. It's just, but when somebody says
the
overall,
biggest
it's
problem
still-
is it's an
still not-
underutilized program.
Well, yeah.
And an outside vendor probably doesn't even want to look at it.
It'd be unlikely that they could make any kind of real money.
Give them the money,
It's not used enough.
And that's common in most schools. Really what you want to do is contain it as much as you can, the loss on it. I mean,
Would you do me a favor, just for my own personal interest? How do Roscoe and Livingston Manor manage to do their food service? I mean, I assume not like this, because
No,
they're
I think-
small. I'm curious because they're small like we are.
I think they have deficits too.
You think so?
Oh, yeah.
Could you check?
Some of the ways that they do it, like with ours,
Yeah.
we've consistently, and I have to keep it this way, we under budget. So they owe the general fund
Yeah.
like 150 grand. So we're gonna have to stop that at some point.
Right.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to actually put it in the budget that we're giving them this money, and then enough to where they can pay us back with our own money.
Right.
That's kind of what Roscoe and Livingston Manor do. Fallsburg makes out okay. They have a very, very high poverty rate.
I understand that. We don't have that. And then we also
No.
have the small school, so we don't have the good use of the
Yeah.
program.
I'll look into it for you. But
I'm just
I
curious.
talked to a couple of them, and they all said they all.
It's a thing for everybody, huh?
Most of them were like, yeah, we all lose money on it.
Did you ever
Is-
look into the fact that when, like, cafeteria supplies water for certain things and coffee, do they get paid back for that? Like, well, if they supply water for a school board meeting?
Yes, they do.
Yeah, we pay
Oh,
that.
yeah.
We pay for
No,
that.
they do.
And I just was wondering, did it go back in general fund or did it go back in the cafeteria fund?
No, it goes back to cafeteria. Jill does the billing for that, and we bill, like, the PTA had a breakfast one morning, we bill them. They buy it through us.
Yeah.
It's kind of actually how we do a workaround, because technically they're not allowed to eat with us, they can't bring in breakfast and give it to
Right.
the kids. So we
Otherwise,
say,
you
well, buy it
lose
from
their state
us.
aid. Otherwise, you lose their money for
We
it.
lose our state aid, but also we lose, yeah, they cook it, it sits there, it goes bad, we throw it out.
Anybody interested in this book? I'm out of it now.
You might want to bring up, Caleb, that this budget's also trying to put a positive number in the reserve fund.
It is. Every one that we make from this point going forward is going to be to try to put a positive reserve fund in.
We promised
We made a
people.
commitment that we would not do any deficit funding. And so that's why when I say we have a contingency budget we're cutting, we're not doing the deficit funding anymore.
No.
So these budgets,
That's
I
why
don't even know, I mean,
I don't even feel comfortable with 300,000. This one might even be like 200,000, which isn't even that much. There's not a lot of leeway in this.
Sure.
This is a lean year.
Well, and we keep saying
It's
that.
right
We
at
do
the
say
end
it
of
all
the
the time.
There is, and it's not the end of the world for a community. It's just, I want everybody to understand, because maybe, people in the community do seem to really get behind the school, and I noticed it last year, so if they know that it's a tight budget, even just the workers will come and, say like the maintenance people, go, oh, well, I'm gonna try to buy this cheaper thing, or I'm gonna try to do that, because I know we don't have money. So I like to let them know, like, this is a tight budget, so keep it up. And everybody's been very good about it.
Yeah.
Well, I think also that because we're trying to work with the taxpayers, which I'm very appreciative that you're trying to work with the taxpayers, that I now pay taxes.
Good job.
Can I just ask a question? Would it be possible to look into, now I have not gone into the cafeteria system, but to look into a way to find ways to make the lunch more enticing for that the kids would want to buy lunch at school? Like even if it's, you have to stay within certain guidelines now through the state, what they just passed down.
I recommend candy.
But is there a way to get the carbonated water?
No. I don't
No?
think you can have carbonated water, can you?
If we have it.
We're
Yeah.
so restricted
We do
in
have-
what
Well, you
we're
can
allowed.
Can you
have
have
carbonated.
carbonated water?
Can't have carbonated water in here in the high school, you
Yeah.
have flavored water.
Oh, you already have flavored
Can't
water,
have
okay.
carbonated water.
There's so many limitations of what you can have, and you have to include certain things, and the kids leave it on top of the microwave.
And it has to be whole wheat.
And we try and use
right?
that food in the cooking class.
Right.
Is the
So it
state
doesn't go to
making that
waste.
worse? Is there
One
any
of the things
movement
I suggest that
to
they
lessen
do,
those
and
restrictions?
it's
No.
time-consuming,
No, they just tightened them.
No,
They
they're
just
going
tightened
to
restrictions.
increase
They should
that
go
every
through the
kid,
menu
Cuomo's
that we have
recommending
for
every
every-
kid get free lunch.
with a year's worth of data,
At our
see what the sales are for each individual item we sell.
Regardless
each time
of
we
their
sell,
ability to pay.
and start pairing off
and then
these
we'll
different-
pay for that though.
Correct.
It's
Like,
not
so
funding
you
it.
No.
get chicken nugget day every Sunday.
He doesn't fund it.
sauerkraut day,
He
yeah,
just has the
hot
ideas.
dogs, Sloppy Joe, whatever. You should go down and see what the sales are for those particular food items. And if you notice a trend, every month this thing is not selling. So
Mhm.
that's something that
Yeah,
I
think about
asked Jill to do. I don't know that we've got it done yet, because she also works in the cafeteria. I mean,
Well, is
not
it
just
something
the
like
food
I
vendor,
could
she
sit
does
and
the
do?
food survey.
Just sit at night and do?
Yeah, it's something that could be done at night. I just have to print out the forms each individual day. You'll have the sales, you'll add up the sales, and you can say, okay, well, chicken nuggets sell about 160 lunches every
So
time that we
yes.
serve it on average, and the hot dogs only sell 73. Maybe we shouldn't have too many hot dogs.
Yes.
Right.
Is it okay if I do it, if I volunteer to do it?
So you want to go through what the kids buy and pick out and make a list of what's most popular and least popular?
What
I think
sells?
Jill should do
I
that.
think Jill should.
You think she should do?
Yeah, that's
I'm just trying to take weight off of what she has to do, being she has to work in the cafeteria too, but.
I understand. But I mean, that's something, I do think that would be a positive thing.
Because I think that would be a very arduous task to do.
It is gonna be-
She's up to the task.
It is gonna be a bit of an arduous task. A little tedious.
It's
but-
tedious.
But at the same time, I think it's worthwhile.
And it's worth knowing. It's good information for her
It's
to
very
have,
good information.
for ordering.
It's information we
Yeah,
should have
because if
for-
you have a sauerkraut day, take that off, because I know that's not being bought.
It's true, it's true.
I-
All right. Unless there is something else that we need to discuss.
There is.
My only, hold on one second. Between now and Thursday, if we can, each of us think of ways to present this to the public as clearly as we understand it, so that we can help make it clear. You do a wonderful job of making
Yeah, I
it
think
clear,
Caleb does
but
an
it
excellent
is
job.
complex stuff.
Don't show
And
this.
there will be questions about,
No.
no, don't show that.
I wanna make an illustration that just uses the example I had originally given, like 10 houses,
Yeah.
$1,000, $100 tax, this is what happens
Yeah.
when a new business comes in.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
You know, because
That's a good way to
you're
do
only
it.
trying to teach a concept, you don't need,
Concept,
it doesn't need
yes.
to look like that. I just
Make
want
it-
to teach a
make it
concept of what's
big.
going on.
Correct.
Make it very big on the PowerPoint.
I think it's
Okay,
easier
very,
when people
very
can see
big.
numbers, rather than a formula.
Yeah, when I looked at that, I was like, well, this looks like you're back in calculus again.
Yeah, you'd have to teach PEMDAS
Yeah,
before you show that.
parentheses.
Well, you're gonna have your same 30 or 40, 50 people here.
I know.
And as soon as this gets.
At least. We used to have 2.
And as soon as, hold on.
Sorry.
And as soon as you get out PECs, go to the bank, you go to the transfer station, you're really gonna have to know what you're talking about to explain it to them.
Right.
I'm being serious.
Yes.
No, I know.
Because one wrong thing put out there
Yep.
flies like wildfire.
Not
Well, the
put out
budget
there.
newsletter
It
comes out
does,
soon.
it does, but
Yeah.
that's where the questions are gonna come up. They're not, there's some are gonna come up here, but you know, I mean, we board members now, being in town, you know what you get hit with. And that's the
We'll have to
important
be
part,
very
of,
careful
you know,
about
going
that.
forward, explaining the budget increase,
Because we
tax
spend
cap,
money on the kids.
the STAR program, you know, all of that. That's very big, to make sure that the right information gets out there.
That's what happened 9 years
So
ago.
with that being said,
It's not gonna happen.
I have set up a meeting with the Highland Senior Citizens. We thought we were set up for March. I spoke with Scotty Greenberg tonight. He wants an itinerary of what we're gonna do. So Caleb, myself, and Dr. Magana will give the itinerary March 19th, which is next week. And we've been invited to the April meeting, which is April 16th. And then I have set up a meeting with the Lumberland Senior Citizens people for May 7th. I contacted both presidents. I said, look, I understand some people don't want to come out at 7 o'clock at night. I understand that. There's times I don't want to come out at 7 o'clock at night after a hard day. So we were willing, I talked to Dr. McGann and I talked to Caleb, that we were willing to come to the meetings and present what we're doing so the facts and the right information get out there. And they were very receptive to it. I talked to Scotty Greenberg for probably about 20, 25 minutes today, and it went well, and he thinks it's a great idea. There's a lot of misinformation out there. And also on March 19th, we hope to meet with Lori King, as we discussed before, and get some hard numbers and see where we're at with the compressor
Now, the April meeting, are you able to be there, Caleb? It's during the spring break.
during the spring break.
You're going to Florida?
No,
Okay,
not going to Florida before the budget.
good.
So he wants your itinerary before you go there?
He wants to know what we want to come there to discuss, you know, what we're basically
And they
doing.
already have a speaker that night, so.
And they already have a speaker,
Oh.
so they moved their meeting from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock.
So it's fine, we'll go in April.
That's fine. And I
Caleb
told him,
and
that's fine, and
Yeah.
Caleb's coming up with what we want to talk about.
You're
discuss
gonna
the
use
book.
the same itinerary for both.
We are,
Okay.
we are. It's just, they don't want it itinerary. They just want us
Okay.
to show up and explain.
Right.
It's basically the budget, the STAR program, that they're not losing the STAR
Right.
program. If we were gonna bust the cap, they're gonna lose their check for this year.
Because right now, most of the community believes we're exceeding the cap because that's what we told them.
Right.
So,
Right.
Well, we made
It's
that
going to be a
decision based
job
on what
to
the information we
change
had
that.
available.
yeah,
I also wanted to mention something we're exploring, for the SROs to that. And then again, this is just one area too, because we're trying to pinch our pennies and get everything in. We're exploring the constables again. It's possible that that could be less. We don't know that it'll work out. It's in tentative phases right now, but we're looking at potentially having a constable in the high school and the elementary school instead of sheriffs. If the Gunther money didn't come in, that would be like
Why are you making a face?
I don't know.
15,000. Oh, one other thing,
I want the SROs.
and then I'm done.
For
I promise.
140,000 or 90,000, we could get
I know, but
constable for 60?
I want highly trained professionals
Mhm.
with guns.
Mhm.
That's all I mean by that phase.
And that's fine, but for right now, we promised the people coverage, and we're not gonna do it this year, because we can't afford it. And
So
it
we're gonna
might
do
be-
constables for 1 year and then SROs and we can afford
That's
it?
what we were maybe considering looking at, yes.
Okay,
Um,
sorry.
I almost forgot to bring this up, but it can be brought up at the board meeting too. I'm gonna ask you guys tomorrow, I'm gonna get a walk on, agenda
Thursday?
item for joining NILAF. It's a consortium for, money market. It would give us, you know, you originally approved me to do an investment account, but I couldn't find one that would give us collateral and allow me to invest the money freely, so I'm gonna join a consortium that puts in a money market account, 2.35%, gives you 1 week access to your money, 1.85% gives you 1 day access to your money.
Wow.
So we're gonna have both accounts. We're gonna put the bulk of our money in the 2.3, we're gonna put a chunk of our money in the 1.85.
what do you anticipate earning?
This year, we could, if I get it in by April, I could maybe make 10, 15 grand this year. Next year, I'm thinking 30, 40, and if I'm extremely lucky, 60.
Is there any
Is there
risk?
risk? Yeah. What kind of risk?
Stereo,
Zero.
Zero risk.
good.
Zero risk.
Go
It's
ahead.
money market.
It's 102%.
It's a money market, right? You're
I
right.
mean, unless the federal government
So you understand that?
implodes.
Well, I understand it too, because
The
we did
risk
it
to
in the town.
America no
I know.
longer exists.
The
but
town,
that
the
doesn't
town,
happen.
town board did it, and like, they made, I'm not gonna say a number, but they made, we did all right with it on the town board. And there
This
was
is
no
a
risk
money-
at all.
This is a money market savings account, because it's a consortium of schools, it's not for profit.
Yeah.
They also hold 102% of your money in collateral and federal obligations, so if the federal government doesn't go bust, we're okay.
Good.
If both the federal government and NILAB doesn't go bust,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
we're fine. But it should give us some earnings on our money right now.
Nice.
We've earned $1,000 every year for like 4 years. so
Yeah.
it's like
Good,
41%.
good plan.
Good.
So let me ask the board, since I don't know that Carol's in favor of it, but are we in favor of entertaining, looking at the constables to do? If not, I'm not gonna go forward with talking to them.
I think,
It's better than what we have now.
yeah,
Yes.
That's what I was just gonna say.
right.
I
I
mean, we
think
have
that would
nothing now.
make people
Right.
more
We have two people walking
comfortable.
around a school building with nothing,
Yes.
sitting ducks,
How much training do constables have in
fair amount.
using guns?
They'd have to have tactical training.
They're carrying, they're getting 85 to 90% of the training that anybody, a state trooper or sheriff gets.
Yeah?
They'd have to have
Send them.
tactical training. We would require it.
They have to qualify every year for, I mean, I sit with them when I was out of town, qualifying. They have a certificate or certified gun guy come out, and they have to do certain shootings and all kinds of things. They do it at my hunting camp. I've sat there the entire day and watched them do it.
I think the sheriff department runs that training, don't they?
I think it is, well, I don't know, I'm not sure about that. The guy came from Rock Hill.
I know in Orange County, the sheriff department offers tactical training to anyone with a pistol permit.
So-
All right, well, I'm not against it. I just, I need to know that and more. I just want to know
And I think it would be more than a security guard.
more than a armed, yeah, I agree. I don't want to arm security guards.
Well, we
I
don't
want it-
have that. So
Right.
having the constable, well, I think that would put,
Can't
It's
have-
better than having-
Can't have it.
Well, and I also think it's important
I
to
wouldn't.
be able
even if
to
we
move.
could. I don't think Cuomo allows that anymore.
That's what I'm saying, I don't think we're allowed.
Oh, that's right,
Armed
that's
security guards, they have to be law
That's right.
enforcement.
I like the idea that we would still get to move Tony then into a position where,
Anthony.
I'm sorry, Anthony. All my Anthonys are Tonys except for him. Anthony into that position where he would work on attendance, because we do have to address attendance, and that's a big address that we could be doing if he was looking into it. So I like that a lot.
He functions in a lot of ways like a social worker.
Yeah. And he's got a lot of respect from the kids.
Yes, he does, and he knows every kid.
You see those ball games? You do. All the ball games I go to, all the kids go to him,
Yeah.
And,
and he knows them all. He knows every one.
He's incredible.
and we would still have him in the evenings for ball
Right.
games and whatever, security.
Yeah.
So,
Well, could he be a constable?
No.
no, he lives in
No.
Pennsylvania.
That's what
That's
kind
what killed it the
of,
first
that's what
time.
killed it the first time, is we met with him and we were looking at this, and then what killed it was he doesn't live in the state. Because there is an opening in the town of Highland, the constable passed away here last year, so then we were kind of thinking maybe we could slide him into that, but.
As long as the town understands that if they're here and there's an event out there,
Right.
they stay in here.
Right, that's what we'd have to,
Because an event out there can turn to an event in here.
right. I mean, we have to
And-
sit down with a contractual thing and make sure we're all on the same page, we're all under the same understanding.
Yeah.
But I made a phone call today and they're willing to sit back down and talk to us.
I think it's worth exploring. It's less than half the price of the sheriff.
and it can't hurt to ask, it can't hurt to sit down.
Well,
with
and
them.
I feel bad that they would
It's all
only be
about the
1 year
people.
though, that, that.
Well, it may be more than one.
It may be more than 1 year, we're looking to save money, right?
If it works
I mean,
well,
they have-
if it works well
If
at
it
less
works
than
well,
half the
maybe we stay
price.
there, yeah.
Maybe we
Okay,
stay
okay,
there.
I see what you mean.
You know, if they have all qualifications, or if we need to step them up a little bit.
And it's all
Yeah.
about the people who get selected.
Yeah.
Right,
If it's
all
a
about-
fit.
right.
If it's not a fit, then we have to look at other
Doesn't matter the
alternatives.
training then, we need the fit, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else? Then we are adjourned.
All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks. Yeah, Thursday.
Bring your iPad. Bring it Thursday. I thought
bad.
I'd leave mine in my bag.
You don't like sitting too long
Just
there,
in
right?
case I remember to ask somebody if they want it. Certainly, sure. Do you have an office here too?